so the first activity or first project we're going to launch is under the Operationalizing Net-Zero focus area. And through some consultation and a few workshops in, I guess, this calendar year, what we've received from the community is that there's a need for a suite of guidelines to really help leverage efforts across the industry towards implementing new practices and technologies in our operations to meet the net zero targets. And so in other words, there is a lot of help that we heard is needed. We're not talking about developing new standards like an ISO 50001 energy management system. We're really looking into topics on how can we supplement the strategy and framework that's existing, but focus on the activity of realizing those net zero actions. So some examples of the guidelines that's being proposed under the suite of guidelines could be related to, for example, electrification of the whether that's underground or open pit mine. And this is a good example because some work is already being done through our electric mine working group. And there's already been great product as a guideline, such as the underground electrification guideline. Another topic was around choices of energy sources. So this is really thinking about all kinds of energy input into the operation. So it could be electricity and green electricity, it could be fuel and green fuel and hydrogen. It could be thinking about fuel switching so that you are actually changing the type of input coming to your operation to do the same work. So there might be some requirements around whether that's infrastructure or kind of optimization or otherwise that could be considered in that topic. And another one would be holistic energy management across the site, which we'll talk about in more detail because that's the first one we chose to pursue. And otherwise, we have other topics like thinking about these hard-to-abate emissions. So carbon capture, storage, and utilization. As some of you might be aware, there are, in certain cases, the tailings material, depending on the mineralogy, could potentially be a carbon sink. Or in terms of wetland and other nature-based solution that's available to our mine sites, there could actually be opportunities to have additional carbon sinks within our boundary. We talked about some guidelines regarding waste, understanding and utilize and doing something about it, and thinking about life cycle assessment and scope 3 emissions, and how would we understand that better and actually take actions around that. Integration and working with communities, as well as tackling the most exciting topic around various reporting requirements. So next one, please. So I just want to talk a little bit about the actual project that we are launching and the one that we would like you to participate. And this is the title of this is called Holistic Energy Management Across Site. And what we're really trying to do is viewing energy. And of course, there's a clear relationship between energy and emissions. All the emissions that you would produce at the mine site generally comes from the energy input you have. Of course, that doesn't include fugitive emissions that we also have in such as coal operations, but generally there's a direct link between the energy input and the carbon emissions. So one of the things we want to do is really, first of all, start seeing energy as an asset rather than a commodity and a cost item that just comes into the operation. And really thinking about it in a way that's more wholesome, so that we're looking at the entire mining operation. So really linking around energy input, energy generation, and energy demand and usage. So really kind of linking those two so that we can make better decisions around both sides. And we want to be able to do this and then going to the next level and being able to revisit the whole mine site at various stages of its life cycle and its operations, and finding ways to help implementing new activities, and so that really achieving ways to reduce emission. I know this may still sound a bit broad, and what I would pitch you is that there's still opportunity to help define the scope of this a little bit, and we would love to hear some feedback and start working with you on getting this to the level that is a lot clearer, and that it will ultimately end with implementation and helping with achieving net zero.